All right, let's see what's going on here. I heard the beep, so I guess we clocked in. Hey, what's going on, party people? Now, if this is your first time here, welcome. It's definitely a great pleasure to have you here. I go by the name of Lespri. I am a spiritual healer. And essentially, what I do as a spiritual healer is that I help people to become Christ like, Krishna like, Buddha like. And what that simply means, guys, is that I help you to attain your highest level of consciousness. So, if you ever know anything about, let's just say, a Jesus, a Buddha, Siddhartha who became the Buddha, like what you'll see in all of these guys, you'll get to know about their trials and tribulations. But most importantly, what is really being depicted there is that, it's you. It's the journey that you'll go through as you embark, let's just say, on that, self loving or self acknowledging path, for lack of better terms. And what that means pretty much is that, yeah, I mean, it's the road less traveled. I mean, unfortunately, it's the road that we all start from, and then we travel less. Most of us don't even go down that road. But anyway, making a long story short, guys, as a spiritual healer, I pretty much help people to attain their highest level of consciousness. Now, in this channel, to give is to receive, what we do here, we help you to attain your highest level of consciousness through what I call the power of words. And when I'm talking about the power of words, most people, for the most part, they always talk about, let's just say, how powerful your words are because of the intention you put into it. I mean, all of that is fair game, all of that is good. But what I'm really referring here is none of that. I'm not even talking about any of that. If anything, when I'm really talking about the power of words, what I'm truly talking about here, we're talking about quotes, we're talking about proverbs, we're talking about um, I don't know, old saying, wise saying. They go by many different names, but that's what we're referring to. And the reason why this is what I call the power of words. So now think about it this way, right? So when we talk about putting certain intentions or your words being powerful, the emotions you're putting into it. I mean, I'm not really necessarily sure if it's the word in itself that is powerful, right? So you know what you say, you know what your intentions are. That's beautiful. But what I'm really referring to here now, when we're talking about the power of word, let's just say you read a quote about, like, let's just say a motivational quote. Then you feel motivated. Then if you're listening to, let's just say, some enlightened or awakening type of quote, I mean, you will automatically feel it. And what you are experiencing is the word fucking you up. So when we talking about the true power of words, to me, the true power of words isn't necessarily and a definition of a word or your intention. It's beautiful, but when you truly put, when it comes to the power of words, it's how you put it together. It's how these things are being said. That's what makes a difference. And the thing about that is, like, let's just say you could just scroll, like, this is you on the fucking net, right? So you're scrolling down, you're doing whatever the fuck you're doing, and then you see this quote. And it automatically demand your fucking attention. Now, that's what I call the power of words. And you'll see, the one thing you'll see, as I already stated, the reason why it sort of like kept your or got you captivated, it wasn't necessarily of a meaning of a word, man. You know what I'm saying? But it's how those things were being said, and you get to experience how those words are acting out on you. That's why when you feel motivated, if that is such a fucking motivational quote, you would automatically like feel that. So to me, that tells me when it comes to the power of the words, it isn't necessarily the meaning of a word. It all comes down to how you saying what you're saying. And a lot of us, that's why you'll see a lot of, let's just say, great speakers, we use rhyme and reasons and, association in some of our words. And that is, I mean, it's powerful because we understand, that's how we get to bypass your conscious mind. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, we get you activated somehow, just how we're saying what we're saying, not necessarily what it means or what we're saying, if that makes any sense. But it's how you're saying it. But anyway, in a nutshell, that's what we do here. Like, that's what I do in terms of being a spiritual healer. But now in this channel, I use the power of words, which are pretty much quotes, let's just say old saying, they go by many different names, or even when you look at poetry, right? What makes poetry poetry, going back to the whole definition of the power of words, you get to realize, it's how things are being said. It's how the picture is being painted in front of you. So that's why in this channel here, we use, I call it the power of words, to help you to expand your consciousness. And the one thing about those quotes too, well, shit, there's a lot of things about them, but the number one thing is that it's how deep, like, those quotes are. There's a wealth of wisdom, that is stored, or that needs to be, breaking down, or that needs to be tapped into as you delving into those quotes. And as a disclaimer, and here's something else too, guys, I want you guys to know about this. When it comes to those quotes, for me personally, I go by this thing that says, wisdom is wisdom regardless of where it comes from. So, if we're talking about wisdom, it is what it is. It speaks for itself, right? Like, what I'm saying to you now, it wouldn't be any less true, let's just say, if my son, who's 5 years old, is telling you the same thing. Wisdom is wisdom regardless of where it comes from, man. you know So, with that being said, a lot of my quotes, with that being said, because I know that, so would derive from many different sources: Christianity, Voodoo, fucking Buddhism, Hinduism, whatever the fuck ism. Doesn't matter, because what it really comes down to is the wisdom in itself. And I'm not sure if I had already mentioned this, but also another benefit to those quotes, of course, besides, how they get you to be more receptive and open to, to dive into the wisdom that is being displayed in those statements. But also, it's like, it's almost what I would say a shortcut, because a lot of those wisdom that you really get to retain, isn't necessarily because you had to go through them. But those could be used as a tool for when you getting ready to face certain things in life, then you already know what these are there for. And pretty much, just so you guys know too, that's the whole idea of having the whole Jesus story, the Buddha story. Again, it has to be put in human form so you understand that is the narrative, but most importantly, that's what you'll be going through as you embark on that journey. Ooh, excuse me. So, so I guess I talked about the disclaimer about, the whole, to give is to receive. And then we also talked about, the definition of what the, what makes, why I call this the power of words. Now we only have one thing left. To dive right into it. But before I do so, allow me to salute, the people who are coming back. I mean, obviously, if listen, I do this for you. This is for you, you know. So, with no further ado, let's delve right into it, guys. As you see in the title, right? Um, you cannot have a physical transformation without until you have a spiritual transformation. Now, guys, shit, this is a fully loaded statement. And as always, if you've been watching me, then you know every time I come out with those, statements, I mean, they're all fully loaded. I'm gunning out here. if you should really know, I'm gunning out here. You know what I'm saying? I come out with with the with the heavy hitters, so to speak. But anyway, now the thing about this statement, to me, and the thing that I really wanted to talk about, isn't necessarily what that statement say. Like, you all know it. I'm pretty sure you probably already heard it. Yes, everything starts in the mind. But my thing is this, though. If that's the case, what does that say about you? Because I feel like this is the bigger statement that is being made in that statement that nobody's really acknowledging. If anything, any physical transformation, right? Let's just say you fat, you're looking to lose weight, then you would have to go internally. You gotta have that self-realization in so many words, right? And everything else that you fucking do, you tired of it. But nevertheless, what this is saying is there has to be a fucking a spiritual transformation, and that spiritual transformation is referring to your spirit, how you see things, how you're processing things. All right. So, what the fuck does that say about you? Now, that's the part that I want to talk about. Yeah, we all hear it. If the man can't see it, you can't achieve it. I mean, this is all cool and dandy, and pretty much, I mean, it's also saying a lot more than what is being said. Because that statement can only make sense because of the reality that you're living in or that you're a part of. Does that make sense? Like, when we hear that you cannot have a physical transformation without having or until you have a spiritual transformation, this is only true because of the reality that you're living in. I want you to grasp this. Like, I'm taking it easy on you. I'm buttering you up, nigga. Don't worry about it. I got you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to get you to see it, and that's what we do too. We're doing the expansion, right? So let's just dive into it. What does that say about you? You see, this is the true thing that people are not truly talking about. I'm pretty sure I've heard people talk about this quote before. Well, obviously not the way that I'm saying it. I mean, shit. I mean, only I could say it the way I say it. You know what I'm saying? And even if somebody else have, let's just say, the same idea when it comes to, that I'm displaying here, even if the idea is the same, they still gonna have to say it their ways. Do you see what I'm saying? But anyway, making a long story short, what does that say about you? And a lot of people talks about that, but yet we're not addressing. I mean, if in so many words, if I got to change my life for my life to be changed, I have to change my mentality. What does that say about who I am? And I feel like this is the biggest thing that is being said here. And I would love for you guys to truly pay attention to it, because if you hearing it from that perspective, oh man, let's just say you hearing it good. And the reason being is because there is a wisdom and a transformation that comes with that when you hear it that way. And again, when we were talking about the power of words, how you say things, well, here we go again. When it comes to you understanding who you are, it all comes down to how you're looking at yourself. And the reason being is, well, living in what you call, or the Indian call it, Maya, which totally makes sense. And we're going to go back to, it's all going to be connected. I'm going to connect all the dots here for you guys, right? So let's talk about Maya for a second, right? The Indian called this world, the world that we're living in, Maya. And what that means pretty much is a fucking illusion. Now, here's the thing, illusion doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. When you see a magic trick, that's a fucking illusion. Meaning you see it, but it's not what it appears to be. Let me say that for you guys once again, because you need to understand this. Like, the reality that we're living in, you see it, but it's not what it appears to be. That's why in life, we need to have the inner vision, the inner knowledge for us to see what's in front of us. Because this is a fucking illusion. It's not what it appears to be. It's not what it looks like. There's more to it. For instance, if you want to get to know me, this is what I look like. You know, the dreads and all that. Now you able to identify my physical self. But for you to get to know me, well, shit, you already got to know me, bitch. I'm a spiritual healer, nigga. I'm saying that to say it's more than what I appears to be. It would be my character, some of the things that I'm devoted to, you know, the shit that I like. So there's a lot more to you than what you appear to be, and that goes for everybody. Even if you're courting like some lady, like let's say you're dating somebody, you know, it's more than what they appear to be. Just when you think you're just dating that person, but no, no, no. There's a whole psychological aspect of what they went through and all of that shit. You dating all that shit, nigga. I know you wanted to get some pussy, huh? It's more than pussy, dog. It's more than pussy, you know what I mean? But anyway, again, it all comes down to, even to get to know somebody, it all comes down to when you understand the reality of, let's just say, the realm that we're living in. That's what makes it a fucking illusion. It's not what it appears to be. There's more to it than what it appears to be. So in so many words, that's why we could call this world the land of the lost. You know, that's why you need your inner vision, your faith, for you to move here correctly. Like I told him, you know, I move like the blind man reading the scripture. The book of Eli, nigga. When you understand the reality, do you see what I'm saying? And because this is all connected too, because I want you to keep in mind there's no physical transformation that takes place, you know, unless there's a spiritual one. In fact, it is the spiritual one that is determining your physical one. That's pretty much what this is saying too. This shit's fully loaded, man. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much. Anyway, so let's dissect it. That's why we're here, right? So, first thing first, it's just what I just said just now, right? Which was pretty much stating that your spiritual world or sense or self is truly as it is within, so it is without. And by the way, guys, if this is your first time, I do recommend the Kabbalion. You do yourself that favor. Get the Kabbalion because the Kabbalion, what the Kabbalion does, it teaches you about self mastery. It gives you the mental understanding of the universe so you can have the mental understanding of yourself. And ultimately, what they're showing you is that there's no difference between you and the fucking universe. For instance, what we call metaphysics is the same thing that takes place in what you call the physical world also take place in your regular life. For instance, we all say that shit. You rip what you sow. Well, you must be a great gardener, Nick. Because you know what I'm saying, from what I can remember, I don't recall anybody planting anything. But you use the word because you understand everything that we do means something. You are the great farmer. Everything that you do is a reflection. You are planting something. There's the seeds. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna have, like I tell people, man, like, and you're gonna have to answer to your own self, even if you don't want to. It is what it is. Nigga, it is what it is. You know what I mean? But anyway, going back to wait, did I even mention about the title of what we're gonna be talking about tonight? Which is pretty, yeah. I did definitely mention it. I think yeah. So going back to the subject at hand, right? So now you realize, there is more to your reality. That's why a lot of us, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, and shout out to my other channel. I mean, I do have another channel that goes by the name of Lespri, where I normally take the time and talk about spirituality and shit. And pretty much what I normally do there, and I guess in so many words, that's what I'm doing here too. Even to talk about that statement in itself. And this is just to show you how fully loaded that statement is. Because there is more to what, you look like. I mean, there's more to you than what you look like. So therefore, to get to know me, to get to know you, you gotta go beyond whatever the fuck I look like. Good looking, bad looking, mediums looking, whatever the fuck, don't matter. So as a result, so this is what I'm saying. So if we're making that statement, what the fuck does that say about us? And to know your essence, that's when you would need to go to the kingdom of God. You see, a lot of you guys, like, like you guys are coming up short. Because although you could be saying that saying, or saying that quote, but if you don't understand, like, how does that, what does that mean to you? Then it's just another quote. Meaning, yes, you could see, okay, well, I mean, it all starts in the mind, but why? What does that mean if everything starts from the mind? How does that affect you? But yet, what does that say about you? That's the angle that I want to approach this from. Because I feel like this is what's not truly being talked about. And ironically, as Jesus talked about seeking the kingdom of God and everything will be given to you, well, guess what? Finding yourself, it will set you free. Everything will be given to you, and then you'll be free. Do you see the connection? I'm trying to get you to see the connection here. So again, if we're saying, let's just say, there's no physical transformation until you have a spiritual transformation. What does that say about you, my friend? Or how is you having a spiritual transformation is it has an impact in your life? However you choose to say it, the bottom line is this: there is more to you than what you appear to be. And if that's the case, then it all makes sense why the Indians now call this world Maya, which means a world of illusion. That's like you going out to see a magic trick, and then you know how those fucking magicians they would have a body split in half. You see it, but that's not what it is. Because and here's the thing too, you already know the truth, nigga. Like there's no way you could split somebody's body that way, but yet you able to see it. That's what makes this a fucking illusion, and that's what the illusion means. And it's important for you to understand that because if you understand that part of it, listen, you way ahead of yourself, as you should. I hope you are, as you should. So, come on, man. Like that mental transformation is everything. That is revealing our essence, guys. This is revealing who you truly are. And who you are is more than what you look like. That's why, as you look at yourself, you can embody, let's just say, your physical aspect and the non tangible aspect about you. I mean, I'm not sure if you would like to call that powerful, because the one thing that I also realize about power too, it's a level of consciousness. You know what I'm saying? The low developed spiritual person, you know what I'm saying, would look at power like manipulation because that's how they're able to see it. But anyway, I have a whole recording talking about haters and all that kind of shit because that segment of it, helps you to realize who they are. And as you're gonna go through your, journey, oh, you're gonna find out who the fuck these niggas are. But what I'm trying to help you to do is knowing how to deal with it when that situation present itself. you know, because me personally, without getting too deep into me, I was around a few dummies. You know what I'm saying? Who thought, I'm not sure whatever the fuck they had in mind. Yo, I don't know what they had in mind, but they thought numbers are stronger. Blasphemy. Do you see what I'm saying? Blasphemy, man. They think they thought it was all about quantity. You're crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? It's never been about quantity. It's always been about quality. Know that. You know what I'm saying? As a Haitian brother, let me put you on some game, right? Like, if you know anything about mango, You could have a billion mango. If they're not ripe, fuck mango. Whatever, whatever fucking fruit, banana. What else, nigga? If it's not ripe, you cannot eat it. I mean, you may choose to eat it, but it's not gonna be edible. I mean, oh shit, niggas eat anything. But what I'm trying to say with this is, it's not gonna have the same impact or the same thing on you when it's ripe. And that's why when you have one mango that's ripe, even if you got a trillion mangoes, those trillion means nothing. Take this with you, all right? Take this. You see that what I just gave you just now? Take it with you. You know what I'm saying? Like for the rest of your life. It's always been about quality, never quantity. But anyway, going back to the quote here, guys, like because there's so much to delve into, but the part that I wanted to delve into a little bit more, and I guess I had already started that, but I want to expand on that a little bit more. Is what the fuck does that say about you? If nothing physical is, if there's no physical transformation without spiritual transformation, what does that mean in terms of the world that we're living in terms of you dealing with you? Because ultimately, this is what it really comes down to, guys. This is you dealing with you, right? You having to brush your teeth, wash your ass, like some of those things, and then now you realize, guess what? In the mix of you washing your ass, getting your nails done, whatever the fuck you're doing, and then you realize that for you to thrive, for your well-being, you also need the Word of God. Now you can look at it. Let's just say you can read a book. Look at it as it doesn't have to be something, what I'm saying, like. But the bottom line of what I'm trying to tell you here, but I'm also trying to get you to also make the connection about when Jesus was saying, men cannot live off of, bread and wine alone, but of, the word of God, the wisdom, however the fuck he said it, right? So I'm trying to get you to see that was a reflection of you, of the life that you're living now. That's why even though you have your kids, it's mandatory you want to send them to school. What will school do for them? Make them better or add values to them. Lack of better terms. You already know. You already know. But what that is telling you is when it comes to us, there is more to you than what you look like. So in terms of your ideas and your intelligence, I mean that's your makeup. Do you see what I'm saying? That's your foundation. That's what you made out of. And then if that's the case, why are we not exploring that? If I have to change my mind for me to change my life, what that is also saying is that, I mean, it's all mental. And if it's all mental, so your reality is going to be as it is within, so it is without. You are the creator. You are somehow creating your fucking reality, whether you know it or not. Because if when the student is ready, then the teacher will appear, which is another great one. Maybe I should talk about that too. But what this is, no, well, not but, I mean, what this is referring to is like, there is more to you, but most importantly, I'm concerned about that more of us. And this is where, for me, spirituality comes in. Because when you're really talking about or looking into our lives, you know what I'm saying, what you're truly looking at, it's our mentality. When you're talking about history, when you're looking at everything that takes place, that's why somebody will tell you everything starts with the mind, which I do get. But now my question is why does it even have to start with the mind? And if it does, what does that say about you? I mean, I give it away, but I'm not trying to give it away, if that makes any sense. Know who you are. Because as blunt as this statement was, it's like, you got to know who the fuck you are. That should be your mission. So spirituality should be your concern because it's talking about you. It's your state of mind. It's how you see things. It's the God that you're praying. It's your behavior, your mentality. Spirituality is you. But also that helps you also to understand. Let's just say, you know what I'm saying. I don't know if I need to talk about that. I'll talk about it later. Not today. Not today. But anyway, I don't know why this example was coming through my mind, but what I was thinking about pretty much, and by us talking about, let's just say, everything starting from the mind, but yet we would, like, what would that say about us? And that's the thing. You see what I'm saying? And I feel like I should just drop the mic here because it's like I want you to reflect on it, and then when you start looking around you, then you realize it's all in our speech. It's all in everything that we do. Change your mentality, change your life. Yo, you gotta be strong. Whatever the fuck we're saying, it all comes down to our mentality. It all comes down to you. Even when I'm using words, right? The words that I'm using here to communicate with you is also symbolizes my mentality, the way I see things, the way I understand things. Like I'm trying to give you niggas this free game. Like how free can this be? You know, like I'm really making it free for your motherfucking ass. But again, this is all referring to because if you understand everything starts from the spiritual mind to take, well, what are we talking about then? What does that say about us? But most importantly, what does that say about the world that we're living in? This is your concern. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, this channel here, just so you guys know too, here's another fucking disclaimer. I'm not, what's that nigga name? Degrassi? Whatever the fuck that black nigga is, right? So, I mean, this is not to debate. I don't do, let's just say, you know what I'm saying, to articulate, come up with brilliant ideas, exchanging terms, jerking off. That's what I call it. What I'm doing here, this is for the living. This is a life experiencing type of thing. That's the knowledge that I'm producing as the producer. Do you see what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm wilding for a second. But the bottom line, truly, in what I'm trying to say here is that what the fuck are we doing? Like, This is not to change ideas. This is not an hypothesis. I mean, yes, those could be used, but most importantly, the greater thing at hand here is your living. How is that helping your life? How is it increasing? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, those are the terms that you got to start thinking. And when you start doing these things, listen, I just gave you some free game too. When you start doing these things, then now you have to question certain things. It's only right, you know. So again, I'm gonna leave you with this: if everything that takes place in the physical form, if for you to have a physical transformation, it requires almost, well, not almost, it requires a spiritual awakening, or not necessarily awakening. Let me go back to the term that they use. I mean, if you need that, what does that say about you? And if you start looking at yourself from that perspective, meaning from that living, thinking person that you are, another way of saying that, the Kabbalion calls it Lespri, or spirit. You're dealing with your energetic field. You're dealing with all of that. So again, this is no conspiracy. This is, when we're talking about magic, life in itself is magical. Our essence is magical. So if you want to talk about supernatural shit, like, the supernatural shit, it's the shit that is not supernatural. Because everything about you is fucking supernatural. How you giving birth, how even in our blood, through our DNA, we are transferring information. That's why, what I'm saying, such and such can say, like, yo, you sound just like your dad. You walk just like your dad. Like, you able like, what the fuck? Then we could talk about DNA, but okay, so fucking is more than just fucking. That's what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Fucking is more than just fucking. So everything you see is beyond, it's more than what it appears like. And if you understand that, then you know what I'm saying, like, it's only right that for a physical transformation to take place, a spiritual transformation gotta be first. And that's what you see when people who are being tired, they've been fat all their lives, and they said, no, this is it, never again. Again, what does that mean? It's all mental. Yes, you get to act it out, but that's the beauty. That is the beauty, and this is where you don't want to get lost neither. And that's how you also get to understand. That was for me. I'm sorry, guys. You got yours. And listen, this is a whole pot here, okay? So I'm giving you yours like that was for me, all right? And we're not even gonna say it because if you know, you know. But again, too, just that is also the beauty too of these type of conversation. But even me as a spiritual healer too. But anyway, there's a whole lot of other stuff that comes into it. But going back to the subject at hand, it's to start looking at yourself beyond the physical self. But what this is truly saying, going back to that statement, it's like, who the fuck are you? And that makes a difference because now, once you able to identify that, you answer that question however you like. But the only thing I would say, just be fair to yourself. Make sure you're being fair to yourself. And And this is what I mean by that, right? Like I always tell people, right? I think God has created the universe. God is greater than me. I always tell people that. On the same breath of that, though, I also understand this is where I'm trying to help you to make the connection of not downplaying yourself, right? Because isn't it also true that, let's just say, if I believe in Allah and you don't, nigga, okay? So Allah only means anything because of me. Just like your Christ means only means anything because of you. Meaning, if I'm Muslim, you talking about Jesus Christ, nigga, it might be your savior, but I will let you know it was just another prophet. Just, this typical conversation these niggas are having. But the one thing that nobody's pointing out, of course they would say that because that's not, I mean, I wouldn't say that's not, but that is also part of their training, part of their conditioning. That's why when you understand tradition, when you understand certain things, it plays a big part. That's why you want to be part of a family too. But at the same time, you also want to step outside of it. But anyway, that's a whole other conversation. We're gonna leave it here because I wanted you guys. This is the hard, like, question mark, and I wanted you to start looking at it, shifting your perspective. Because if this is true, if you got to do all of that, what does that say about you? And if you truly understand, for you to better your life, you got to have to muster up or get better knowledge. Well, if that's the case, well, knowledge should be your life, man. If you want to grow, do you see what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, it kind of go without saying. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? And that's the beauty of it, man. So I'm gonna let you guys here. I'm gonna leave you guys here. But most importantly, I want you guys to be able to reflect on this. This is almost like, let's just say, a perfect piece, but that is giving to you in half, or it's just, you know what I'm saying, you may have to, let's just say, you're gonna have to delve into that one. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck does that say about you? And if you're like me, you get to realize a whole lot of stuff. It's like, well, you know what I'm saying? I mean, shit. Like, it's to your advantage. You're not losing anything. So again, and that's the beauty too. Like, even from looking at things from that perspective, and the perspective in itself allows you, already put you on a whole different perspective. But anyway, just to summarize, guys, the question I want to leave you with today is that I'm pretty sure most of you probably already heard of this, but it doesn't matter. What we're talking about tonight pretty much is, it's the saying that says for a physical transformation to take place, I mean, like a spiritual transformation would have to take place first. That's essentially what that is saying. I'm not quoting, obviously, but essentially that's what this is saying. And if that's the case now, if we all gotta have wisdom for us to get better, wisdom make a man feel so powerful, gives you all that power. Well, what the fuck does that say about you? Who is you? How do you work? How do you work? I mean, how do you function? And again, I did talk about the whole illusion stuff, that you could go back and refer to. But this is all part of the conversation to get your mind going, to expand it a little bit more. But also, I also wanted to approach this a little bit different because I'm pretty sure you motherfuckers here, you probably heard it all. You heard it all before. Ain't nothing new. Hey, I'm not against you at all. But again, the inner vision is different, and that's what we're talking about here. But anyway, we're gonna leave it here. To give is to receive. Just know I love you guys so much. I got a lot more content coming up for you guys. And shit, nigga, I got tons of videos too, guys. I mean, I've been partying, vacation. Yeah, I've been on my vacation shit. But most importantly, it's ascension time too. Come on, man. Listen, man. We put in the work. Now it's time. Listen, I'm the great farmer. You know what I'm saying? We've been growing a lot of our like, oh man, we. If you want to talk about my garden, nigga, listen. It's like, ah, you should make it your business. That's your garden. You know what I'm saying? And again, going back to, I remember I was talking about pretty much the Kabbalion, and I was talking about those, let's just say esoteric knowledge. Again, it's there to serve you. No knowledge, I mean, any knowledge that's not serving you. And the reason why they should serve you, believe it or not, you are the creator. And what that means, okay, that could be, a little bit tough for some of us, but what that means is, regardless of what you think you're doing, let's just say you choose to follow God, you believe in God, whatever the fuck, but then which God do you believe in? Whichever God you choose to, whatever the fuck, the real God, well, you're going to reflect that in your actions. If today I become a 7-day Adventist, my Saturday changed. Saturday is not going to have the same meaning for you. So, through my God, I'm creating my reality, and so are you. And even if you don't believe in a fucking God, what does that say? Your mentality, the transformation is inward. That's why you never follow the outside. That's why you never like keep up with the Joneses. You only keep up with you, because keeping up with the Joneses, it's a fucking illusion. Do you get it? But anyway, I'm gonna leave you guys here. Namaste, nothing but love. Aishen. Mali.